Alright, before I move up to higher parts of the tower here, I'm putting a wall through the middle. And once this is finished up here, I'll be able to put the second floor on. And the wood for the second floor should be here, I don't know, within the next week anyway. And the second floor rests on top of these things here, these big concrete, whatever you call them. And so far I've just kind of guessed at the height of them, just kind of roughed it in, knowing that I can go back and, put a little more concrete on, or maybe cut something off if I really need to, but it'll be easier to build them up a little. But now I'm at the part where I do actually need to level things out, because I'm putting the top part on this wall. And it looks like that end of the tower is a little lower than this end, which, I mean, isn't surprising. I didn't measure anything before now. It's actually pretty close to level, considering nothing has been measured at all. So I don't know if it's off by enough that I'm even going to care. I might actually just leave it a little bit slanted. So I threw some boards up there, and I'm going to go stand on them and see how it feels. Because if the floor is crooked by an amount that if you drop a marble, it rolls that way, that's not a big deal. But if it's off by enough that you feel like you're walking downhill this way and walking uphill this way, that's too much. Of course, I'm going to have a little bit different experience than normal because I'm just walking on one board. I just need to pretend I'm on a floor. Feels pretty flat. I don't think I would even notice how much it's off. Man, this is going to be a pretty cool second floor view. Once I clear all these dead trees and stuff out of here, I'm going to put sand here, and then this will be a little beach. Maybe I'll find a better parking spot for my pedal boat. Yeah, a little beach that goes down into here, and then the canal out to the main bay, which goes out to a big canal, but then to open water right out there. And you can see over the mangroves from here into the open water. And the mountains in the distance. This is a good view. And there's still another floor up from this. Oh, and I can see my bigger island over there. And my property on the big island is on that big island that's, this huge island here. That's like thousands of acres. I have 25 acres right over there. And then I have this little island kind of over here. Oh, what a beautiful place. Man, this looks so different than when I first got here. Man, it keeps getting cooler and cooler. While I'm up here, I might as well give you the rundown of what I've been doing every day for the last, I don't know. So I've got my pile of rocks and sand here, right here, and this is bags of cement. And it used to be 4 times that many. I have a bunch of cement bags also in this little dome over here. But yeah, every day I'll go over here with my 2 carrying buckets, take my 2 carrying buckets over there, fill them up with some rocks and sand, walk across the bridges, come over here, then use my 2 mixing buckets and my water bucket, and my in-use bag of cement is always kept under here so it stays dry. And then I'll mix up 1 bucket of cement at a time, just dumping them back and forth. And then walk into the door, up into here. And then yesterday I just did this piece right here, which was not a very difficult piece to do. But today I'll probably do 2 sections here maybe. And I'll just come in, dump the cement, pack it down with a stick, go get another bucket, just keep doing that till I'm done. And then I also just started bulldozing again, so I'm taking the higher ground over here and bulldozing it into the sides, you know, where the ground is lower. And I want to get a part back here filled in up to the final height I want it to be, so I can start gardening on the island. I want to start doing that really soon. Alright, anyway, these concrete things are up to, I don't know, like 8 inches below the seam between this layer and the layer below. So they're a consistent height all the way around in relation to this line. So these are all consistent, like they're all on the same plane. It's leaning a little bit that way. So if I just go with that, I'll have to have this slightly slope up just a tiny bit. And the other option is, of course, to get this side a little higher than it is, and this side a tiny bit higher to get it leveled out. Standing here though, I don't really feel any slope. Like, I know that side's higher and that side's lower, and I wish I came up here without knowing that, so I could stand here not knowing and then try to figure out if I could tell. Because now I mean I already know which side's higher. So if I try to ask my brain, hey, which side's higher? My brain's like, well, I already know that side's higher, so. And the bubble's off by a little bit. But I don't know, I think that's close enough to level for a floor in a castle. And it's not like the bubble is all the way at the other end. Yeah, it's off by like half a centimeter at this end. The floor is not off by very much. I think I'm just going to build it with the tiny bit of slope it has, and not say anything to anyone. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that and not say anything to anyone. And if anyone actually notices the floor is slightly sloped, then I think put some shims on this side. It wouldn't take much to get it like perfectly level. I bet no one will even notice unless they watch this video. No one in my family watches my videos though. I don't think. Mom, I know you watch these videos. Don't say anything to Deshana about the sloped floor. And everyone else, don't say anything to Deshana about the sloped floor. I want to see if she notices. Alright, that is all. No, seriously, don't say anything to her. Someone is totally going to say something to her now that I said all that. Alright, I'm just going to have to coax her up to climbing up here and walking on this before I put this video online. Some people think it's really easy to video your life and put it online, but it's not that easy. There's all these little difficulties that come up that you might not think about until you actually do it. While I'm up here, maybe I should explain my overall design since I can see everything so easily. So there's the shell, which is going to be like half an eggshell. You know, it's this outer shell. And then there's these spokes coming in. And those go along with the center wall. Like, it's just like one spoke that goes all the way across. And they are connected to each other, but they're basically separate things. Like, they're connected to each other so they kind of help each other out a little bit. But the outer shell basically just has to hold up itself. Like, it's only responsible for holding itself up. The second floor and everything internal, and that, like the third floor too, will be just posts on top of these, will be held up by these things. So, you know, the outer shell doesn't have to hold up any of the internal weight, and these things don't have to hold up the outer shell. And the only real concern I have about building this is the strength of the foundation. Because, you know, there are some things I can't know 100% for sure. But at this point, most of the weight is on the outer shell, and that's the part I would be most concerned about. Because the internal parts are all on pretty densely packed clay, but the outer shell has some variability in the ground. But anyway, most of the weight is already on there, because the wall gets thinner as it goes up. So the thicker part and the parts with like, you know, like kind of like pads, the fat part, like most of the weight is already on here is what I'm saying, and this gets thinner as it goes up. So I think I'm going to be okay. looks about right. Close enough anyway.